Question of the morning. Darryn Peterson saying he met with the Jazz over the weekend. Does that calm your fears?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice impersonation. Vernon, what's your source?
Him.
Darryn Peterson. How do we know that? Because he was asked, have you met with the Jazz? Yeah, over the weekend. Where? We met. What did they accomplish with the meeting? Get to know him a little better. Find out his attitude. Ask him a few questions. Get to know him as a person. We just heard Austin Ainge say who they are as a person, more important than their current skill set. Essentially, who are they betting on to improve?
Well, in May, they meet with them at the Chicago thing, but that's a long time away. You still got several weeks before the draft comes, and now the draft is here, right? It's right on top of us. And so now it's really serious. And so then I think having a meeting now, you can have this opportunity to figure out what's going on. What do you think? What's your mindset? Because it's a real possibility that you're available and we draft you. So tell us, what are you thinking about that? And before there's more posturing and it's going to go back and forth, rumors and this and that and trades and possibilities, all that stuff. Well, that's all out the window now. I mean, it can still happen, but the idea is that anytime anything is upon you as opposed to in the future, there's a greater sense of urgency. We were talking with your guy, Dunseth, yesterday, and Tim Ream, 38 years old, he's the captain of the team, right?
Yep.
And so after the game the other day, he's on the field crying. He says, this is the closest group, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking that, but if he was 28, would he have been as emotional?
No, to your point, the 38-year-old is thinking, well, the next World Cup is when I'm 42, so I'm not going to be there. Whereas the 27-year-old or 25-year-old is saying, I'll be 29, I'll be 31, I can be back.
So the sense of urgency and just purpose and all those types of things just goes into overload when you get right on top of something that is going to happen and something you've been waiting to happen for a long time. These kids will say my whole life, and we'll laugh because their whole life is a snapshot. But that's all they have is their whole life at 18 years old, 19. I mean, they kept asking Cam Boozer about, growth in your body and you're mature beyond your years as a 19-year-old. He says, well, I'm 18.
That was awesome.
He's not even 19.
We played the audio this morning. Did you see the video on social media last night?
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube. Yeah. I watched all three on YouTube of all the interviews that we played.
Yeah.
Right.
But the body language, the look on the face and everything, it was just hilarious.
Right. He's not even 19. But, he does have a level of maturity, that's for sure. He presents himself extremely well and all that stuff, so it doesn't seem to be an issue with Cam Boozer as far as that goes. But for Darryn Peterson, now is the time. And it's going to happen, and it's dramatic and all. So I think my point is an interview now, I think is much more insightful versus even though it was just last month, but it still seemed far away. And, today's the last day for posturing. We're done with that. It's now about who do you want, and then who do you want, and then down the line.
And I think all these things build on themselves. I don't know how much time they get at the combine with him. We heard other players. I think Boozer talked about spending basically a day and a half here, which is what we heard about the time. And I think to your point, when you meet with them and you learn a little bit and you want them to fly in and they don't, and you think, well, we got to double down on learning from everybody else who's been in his life. And there must be some questions raised by that follow-ups that you didn't ask before because you didn't know them yet because maybe you hadn't talked to all of those people yet. So you get to take a deeper dive into that and follow up on whatever high school or AAU coach or assistant at Kansas told you.
Because you don't want a shallow dive because that could wreck your spine.
No, it's a deep dive that wrecks your spine.
You don't want
shallow spine.
You don't want a shallow. That's what I'm saying. Deep, you can't. The shallow, you hit your head.
That's not how it works.
Yes, it is too.
Okay.
A shallow dive? It most definitely is. I knew a guy who ended up in a brace because he dove in and it was too shallow. You hit your boom. No. You want it to be deep. and then the water will take your body. Absolutely. No, that's exactly how it works.
Brady says, I didn't even have fears to begin with. Brady's not worried tonight. GR, on the other hand, says I haven't slept in a week worrying about it.
That's a little extreme. I think he's trying to make a point.
Yeah.
But all that stuff should be out the window now.
Jeff, fear of what? Oh, picking the wrong player. Isn't that the fear? You'll pick somebody at 2 and then somebody at 3 or maybe 4 or whatever. Has an awesome career.
Well, he could refuse to report if you want to go to the extreme.
That would be extreme.
So, yeah, there's a lot of things. And then you need to get me out of here. This isn't going to work and blah, blah, blah. You can take it as far as you want to with that. So, yeah, I think there's a concern. And you can point to Ace Bailey and all. Great, Ace Bailey, it worked. So far, so good. But that doesn't mean the next guy's going to be like that. You don't know.
Philip says it wasn't a big deal in the first place that Darryn Peterson didn't come out here to work out. I'm hoping we get him, but I'd be happy with AJ too. Philip, no fear. Philip's feeling good. No lose position in Philip's mind.
Well, then if there was no fear, then why did they meet with him again? Why did they meet with him in the first place?
They had questions.
Right. So you may not have,
and the question,
but clearly they did.
And the question may be, is there something we should know that we don't? Maybe they just have to confirm what they already thought and they like him. It doesn't necessarily have to be, we got to meet with him.
Well, if they didn't have to meet with him, why did they want to meet with him out here? Why did they want to meet with him back there? So I disagree. They wanted to meet with him.
They want to meet with him. They have questions.
Right. So
and maybe just confirming, maybe questions.
Fine, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But to say that it's no big deal, they didn't need to meet with him, well, then why did they try to meet with him twice if they didn't need to meet with him?
Got to check all the boxes.
It doesn't make any sense.
Got to check and double check.
Whatever information they wanted is irrelevant. The fact that it's not irrelevant, but the fact is they wanted to meet with him.
They want to meet with him because there's some information they want.
And you can't say, well, it's no big deal, because if it was no big deal, why'd they waste their time doing it? It had to have mattered.
Brian, does it really matter? Why sweat it? The Jazz already know the course of action. Main question with him is availability, work ethic, and is he really a long-term player? Or will he come for a couple of years, serve his time, and move on? Talent's not the issue. It's the drama surrounding his situation. Agreed, Brian. That's why it really matters.
But I think that talent is the issue. Not his talent. The talent compared to other guys, in this case, Boozer or DeBonsa, that you could possibly draft. So talent is the very issue. That's the whole point of having a draft, is to acquire talent. I mean, you can acquire – this is not the Boy Scouts here. You can get all the best guys in the world, but if they can't play, who cares? So, yes, talent is absolutely the number one issue. Is he talented enough? Because if he's not, who cares what kind of good person or bad person or indifferent person that he is?
Well, I think Brian thinks he is talented enough. But Brian is worried about his availability, his work ethic, and is he a long-term player.
His talent isn't the equation exclusively.
It is not. Everybody else has got him. Cam Boozer's got talent.
Yeah.
And AJ's got talent.
Right.
We've seen it.
So it's just simply, it's not just his talent, it's how does his talent compare? And since they all have talent, then you start getting into all the other stuff about what kind of person he is and maturity level and work ethic. Those things at that point matter greatly because you've already decided he's got enough talent to be considered, not necessarily to be the guy, because it's determined upon who has what you think is more talent. If, in fact, somebody does have more talent. Or do you go, well, let's see, man, he may not be quite as talented, but the other potential issues are clearer to us that this is a better pick. So the difference in talent could be negligible, but there might be some character issues. And I'm just using an example. I'm not saying literally that there are for any of these kids. I'm just using it generally. And you might decide I need to go in this direction because this is what we want as a person we believe is going to get better. Because Austin just said, we just played the bite of him saying, none of these guys are finished products, and obviously there's very few, if any, in the history of the world has been a finished product at 19, 18 years old. That's dangerous if that's the case. The guy ought to be, if he's even close to a finished product, then he's got to be the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, you can go through all the greats, and they weren't finished players. People with 4, 5, 6 titles, and Hall of Famers, and legends, and they all got better. Jared, fear? Not at all. Peterson's character flaws, his lack of leadership, they're concerning. However, I trust in Ainge. Jared's not going to stress about it. He's going to let everybody else stress about it. He's got a positive, upbeat approach that the Jazz are going to make the right choice.
Well, I don't know that they're going to make the right choice. That is years away from being decided. Was it an excellent pick? That's something that is in their control to a degree, not even completely. But to know that it was the exact right pick, I'm not sure that that's going to be known until the turn of the decade.
At the earliest.
Yeah. That's what's so cool about this. And it also can drive these guys up the wall, sleepless nights and all that stuff, because you don't really know for sure. And then injury could be a factor, and that's something that, you can't control. I don't think guys, I refuse to believe that guys are dogging it injury-wise at the pro level because there's just too much at stake. It's meaning if they're hurt, they're hurt. And if they can't go, Greg Oden couldn't play because of injuries. There's been guys that have had to, Matt Harpring, he had to retire because of injuries. He had stuff in the tank, but he couldn't go anymore. He couldn't play at the level that he needed to. And fortunately for him, he'd played a number of years. But those things can happen, and knock on wood, they don't.
Kim, no fear, but I think Darryn Peterson must have come to his senses. He's not going number 1.
Why not? What does that mean? He came to his senses.
Well, in my mind anyway, and I assume, because Cam doesn't spell it out, it's a pretty short post here, I was always curious, is Peterson not working out for anybody else because the Wizards have tipped their hand somehow and he knows he's going number 1? Or is this, hey, let's carry myself like I'm the number 1 pick and try to exert some influence on the situation? I'm not going to work out for anyone else. I'm the number 1 pick, obviously. Look at me. So now I think Cam is saying, well, he realizes maybe I'm not the number 1 and maybe I don't want to play this bluff to the end. I'm going to go ahead and meet with the team at number 2 because I definitely don't want to slip to 3.
And so you think that was it? He needed. I mean, it's your.
I think that when Cam
theory, I understand.
Yeah,
that.
I think when Cam says Peterson must have come to his senses, I think he's referencing that line of thinking, and that this is Peterson tipping his cards. All right, I tried to bluff my way into number 1, but we're getting real close here, and I'm not feeling it for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and meet quietly with group number 2. And then when he gets asked about it, I mean, if you want to draw this out, this is all theory. I have no idea. There's a little pause in the answer, and maybe he's thinking, I don't want to say this, and I don't want to lie and get busted either. Yeah, I met with him. And then when they wanted details, none of them. Just shut it down. Where? I met with him. I'll decide what info gets put out here. I'm not getting into this anymore.
Well, I think somebody's advising him, and he's just doing what he's told.
Probably, as these 18 and 19-year-olds.
The location, who gives a crap?
I didn't. Right. I mean, maybe you can say, well, you went out and you saw the city. Oh, okay.
Well, he's already been here.
See the facilities.
He already mentioned the city.
Yeah, he did. You're right. He did.
He said the mountains and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's scenic. So he gave it a multiple thumbs up. And it is, especially if you're coming from the Midwest.
Yeah.
And you come out here and
the mountains.
Name me a bigger city that has mountains this impressive. There literally are none in the United States.
No, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, Denver, but they're out in the distance.
They're a long way. They don't tower over you.
No, they're right on top of
do.
you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I cut my lawn, and especially in the summer, or I go out and water, and I look up in amazement.
Yeah.
And I've lived here for 30 years.
But the mountains are towering right over you.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
So certainly it's extremely scenic. And so he acknowledged that. All good. He gave acceptable answers.
Ice Cube's Big 3 is back. The most competitive basketball league on earth is on CBS this Saturday. Big 3 All-Star Dwight Howard and the LA Riot take on Greg Monroe and the Dallas Power. Then Coach Rick Mahorn, Sensation Nazir Kaur, and the Detroit Amps look to protect home court against back-to-back MVP Michael Beasley and the defending champs Miami 305. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and catch replays on BET. Oh, yay, yay!
Kevin, what did meeting with the Jazz accomplish? Kevin thinks it's just all overplayed. And David sets him straight. It accomplishes a lot. You get to know the person off the court. You can make a fair evaluation. You're not going to know much about a person if you never sit down and talk with them. The GMs know every one of these kids' games inside and out, seeing every play they've made in high school and college. They had tons of scouts giving them info as well, so to know the game's very important. But to get to know the person, that's critical, especially in this case.
Well, I think gathering as much information is critical. This is why they did it. If it was meaningless, they wouldn't have done it. But obviously they thought it was meaningful, and I understand why they would think it's meaningful. Get to know a human being as much as possible, right? I mean, they talk to marriage counselors and all that stuff, and they'll tell you the same thing. Don't rush into it. Wait. Get to know him as much as possible. And even with that, half of the marriages in this country end in divorce. And that's the thing about it, because who you are in the moment, what are you going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the line? So it's the same type of principle. Obviously, they're not going to be playing for 25 years. But, you know, what's it going to be when you are together in each other's faces for 6, 7 months? How do you get along? Yeah. You know, you're spending so much time with these people, and it's a small group, and you can't really get lost. So how's it going to be? You're trying to figure all that stuff out. How are you going to handle the media? Because the media is going to come to you and ask you questions. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever it might be. You know, how do you present yourself? How articulate are you? How comfortable are you speaking to strangers? Because everyone that he comes in, whoever it might be, they're all going to be strangers.
It's all new.
Yeah. How
There's
much?
no way you got relationships here, right?
Fill in the blank player. Well, how much do you know Jaren Jackson? You got to get to know Jaren Jackson, because Jaren Jackson is going to be a crucial component to this team. And you got to get along with him because he's the vet. It's not so much he has to get along with you. You got to get along with him. You got to fit in at the start. And then 5 years later, there'll be some other snot-nosed kid who's got to fit in with you.
Snot-nosed. Everybody's got to have a runny nose when they're young.
Right. I mean, it's a cliche.
It is.
Right? So you got to. There's a game that you have to play. Right? And how are you adaptable in that situation? And the people who have been so influential in your life can still have influence, but it's going to dissipate over time.
For no other reason than time. I mean, time guarantees it. You're going to spend so much time with the team, with your teammates and your assistant coaches, your coaches, and strength and conditioning, on down the line. And you spend so much time in the building with them, all the people you've been spending time with, there's no longer availability, at least in the same amount. I mean, you still maintain some of those relationships. Guys talk about how influential their college coaches and parents and family, and friends will blow up their phone. And the reason to blow up their phone is you're not right beside them like you used to be.
And your father or whoever your handlers are not going to have an influence on your playing time anymore.
It's a different deal.
Will Hardy is.
Yes, it's a very different deal. And if they try to retain some of that power, will take it away from them, and quickly.
Yeah.
Coaches always talk about all, and actually coaches at every level talk about all the voices in players' heads and in their ears, and all the stuff they're hearing. They can hear it from friends. They can hear it from family. They can hear it from roommates, kids on campus. They can hear it from the media. I mean, they just have long lines of, how did these parents just kind of let it go now, or are they still trying to stay front and center? And agents, who your agent is, for sure. Teams absolutely notice that. And now colleges are noticing that.
I'm covering the Utes in the 90s, and the season starts. Mm-hmm. And Majerus, who could be tough, everybody knows that, right? First several games, post-game, he makes it a point to praise this one player.
A role player.
A little bit better than a role player.
A good role player. Okay.
A decently high enough, but not the star by any stretch. Star's Van Horn all the way, right? And Majerus keeps bringing up this player multiple times.
And Pat Kinahan's nose is sniffing it out. Like, wow, he doesn't compliment a lot of players. And if he does, you'd think he'd compliment the star. Here's a good player.
Right.
And
I'm wondering, what is going on?
He's getting more post-game comments than all the other guys combined.
I'm thinking, so antenna just zooms up to the sky, right? And I'm there home and away, so I'm there all the time as a beat guy. And I said, something's going on here, right? So I do a little digging, and then I find out that the guy's father had been in Majerus' ear the entire summer. Mm-hmm. You got to pub my son more. Yeah. He's not getting blah, 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 blah. And Majerus did that to satisfy the dad. And that's at high-level college. This team was a really good team, obviously. And so he's doing that. Well, but that's over this year.
Yeah. See, that's a different deal because Majerus playing every angle and doing nothing just because he's really smart and really analytical, is thinking, well, I might need that guy in recruiting. I certainly don't need that guy going back and telling AAU teams bad stuff. So I gotta tamp this down a little bit.
Right.
But the NBA coach doesn't have to worry about that.
No.
So he's not going to have the same motivation Rick had.
Right.
Yeah. And you were telling a story, but I think it was off the air. You were telling me a story about listening to a parent of a high school age kid complain to a coach about how many shots because they're in the recruiting process. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you're sitting there and you're out of state in a relaxed vacation type setting, and you got an angry parent hollering about shots. Well, I don't know who the Jazz are going to draft
in the AAU circuit.
In an AAU circuit, right? Yeah. I don't know who the Jazz are going to draft. I mean, I have my guesses, but I don't really know. And I don't know who Washington's going to draft. So I don't know which player I'm talking about. But I'm pretty sure Will Hardy wants 0 phone calls from any of their parents about how many FGAs whoever is getting. And it's going to be an issue. You brought this up. It's like Lowry's going to get his shots. He's 7 feet tall, and he's a proven scorer. Jaren Jackson is going to get his shots.
Right.
Keontae figures to have the ball, and he didn't seem very shy. He's going to get his shots. I mean, not enough shots, too many shooters, not enough shots, PK. Bring it back.
Well, which is a good problem to have.
It is. Especially because guys aren't going to play all 82.
Shooters.
Too many shooters, too many shots, not enough shots to go around for all the shooters.
Shooters. Give me another shooters.
Too many shooters, too many shots, not enough shots to go around for all the shooters.
Yeah.
Not enough shots to go around for all the shooters.
Underground hit.
Thank you, Johnny. I hadn't heard that in a while. Thank you, Yock.
Underground hit.
That. When I referenced that, I wasn't sure how easy it was for you to get to. That was pretty good. Too many shooters, too many shots, not enough shots to go around for all the shooters. There's the live version before Johnny.
Well, that's the acapella.
Yes. It's the acapella. That's the live acapella version, not the studio. Johnny and I went in the studio and created an underground hit.
Are you Chief Keef?
I am not, but I should be.
Because A.J. DeBonsa was, I saw another thing, he was presented, they were trying to do a thing where, determining on where he would like to go. Mm-hmm. So they asked him about his musical tastes, and they listed 4 artists, and they were all related to the top 4 picks. Mm-hmm. So you had...
So like if he listens to Elvis, he wants to go to Memphis?
That would be the classic example.
Right.
Chief Keef, who I'm sure you know.
Absolutely not. Also from Memphis?
Chicago.
Okay, Chicago for the Bulls.
Kid was 16 years old. He's got like you. He's got the rap sheet to give him the street cred. You can look this up, Chief Keef. Yeah, that's not his real name.
No, you're kidding me.
16 years old, he gets a lady pregnant who's 20 years older.
Really?
Oh, he's got street cred.
Street cred.
Yeah, big. I thought of you immediately. I thought about calling you Chief DJ. And then, who do you think was the Utah one?
Were they born in Utah?
Yeah, born or linked to.
Yeah.
Well, strongly linked. It's not the Osmonds. It's not She Daisy. It's not Archuleta. What? He's a singer.
He is.
I know he is.
Young Boy Never Broke Again?
No.
Okay. Oh.
Imagine Dragons.
Ding dong. So DeBonsa went with the Chief, and then of course that would indicate you'd want to be drafted by Chicago, and then he did food, and I don't remember, he did Jello or whatever we have here. I forget what it was, but it was it was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
So they did 4, and they tried to connect it some geographical association.
I wonder what the food would be in D.C.
I don't know.
Barbecue from Memphis.
I can't remember.
Steak for Chicago.
No, deep dish.
Oh, deep dish. Okay.
Which I don't like compared to thin crust. But that's where I grew up.
Right.
Thin crust, so it's what you know. So obviously that's what I know. But yeah, and so it was a fascinating little thing that they did, and he played along. He has a good personality. Seems like he is always willing to play along.
That will help make him a media favorite. People will come in with their storylines, and he'll play along. And
yeah, although, but I mean, this is
going.
loose when you get down to the season. It's business.
It is different, yeah.
And it's about production.
Right.
Especially for this club next year, it's going to be, to a large extent, if not completely, about production, which is cool. It's going to be about winning. The success is going to be determined upon winning. It's not going to be some development by some kid in the third quarter. That stuff is over. Did you win or not?
Overwhelmed? That was me with diabetes. Hey, I'm Jabron. Between teaching and coaching, managing diabetes felt like an extra job. With the Freestyle Libre 3 CGM, I get real-time glucose readings and have the insights to make informed decisions. My life feels lighter now. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Ice Cube's Big 3 is back. The most competitive basketball league on earth is on CBS this Saturday. Big 3 All-Star Dwight Howard and the LA Riot take on Greg Monroe and the Dallas Power. Then Coach Rick Mahorn, Sensation Nazir Kaur, and the Detroit Amps look to protect home court against back-to-back MVP Michael Beasley and the defending champs Miami 305. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and catch replays on BET.
Yay, yay!